Why a real whole food is unlikely to be the root cause of your symptoms or health issue. I'm Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert for women. I help women reduce and reverse their symptoms with natural methods. I've been asked a lot of questions recently about food sensitivities. It came up in a live I did yesterday. It's also come up in some comments on the posts that I have made. And like I've shared, I cannot comment. TikTok says I'm too good at commenting and they've put me in a little detention space. But there have been some comments on my post from some of you who follow me and some people just dropping by to be opinionated, saying to avoid things like dairy or avoid things like nightshades or avoid things like cruciferous veggies. And I want to clear up some things here because it may have worked for you. First, that's real. It may have worked for you and really helped you reduce your symptoms. So right on. There is always a case for somebody doing something that worked for them. But remember, you are an N, meaning a subject of one, and it's really important to me that this space be educational and that we're all learning here things that can apply to a lot of us. And that's why oftentimes I'll clarify on these types of comments. It's not an attack on you, and I really appreciate your comments and love that we're having this open conversation. So real whole foods are not the cause of the vast majority of health issues, and here's why. If you're reacting to something even like dairy or nightshades or cruciferous veggies, there's something else going on that's the root cause. This means that removing some of those foods for a time, sure, could be beneficial to reduce some of the inflammation and some of the symptoms you're having, but removing them rarely is going to solve the issue entirely. Because the reason that you're reacting to those foods has to do with what's going on in your gut. It has to do with things like intestinal permeability or bacterial imbalance or parasite overload or candida overgrowth or things like an inflammatory process that's occurring in your joints or exposure to things like mold or glyphosate. And yes, your hormones are totally in the mix in a part of that response because stress is a hormonal response. And a lot of times women see things change with their weight or with their cycle or with their sleep or with their blood sugar balance, and all of these things implicate and involve hormones. So the root cause, though, is actually underneath avoiding those foods. It's all of those things I mentioned that could be impacting your gut and your inflammation and your hormones. And when we just pull out a bunch of foods, what ends up happening is we're reducing the foods that we are able to eat and do eat on a regular basis. And when we do that, we create a narrower window of foods that our body now can also become sensitive to or intolerant to. And by the way, intolerance and sensitivity is different, just like allergy is different. So sure, if removing a whole group of foods has helped you, again, manage your symptom, go for it. That experience is real. And it's not something I feel comfortable recommending to everyone as the best starting place. Hope that makes sense.